Okay, we are live. Now let me go ahead and help you turn the stove on while the people come in.
Just put both of them on.
Hold on, let them see what's going on.
You see it for now?
I wonder. Can't really see that too well, but for this time it will have to be like this. Okay.
Okay, which one go on first?
Yeah.
Is that this one?
Bottom left?
Yep. Why?
Let's try. Alright.
Thank you.
I should lift my legs. They're probably watching this like, what is going on? Okay. Now we are live. I can't even see the chat. There we go. I thought you were trying to get back into live streaming. Yes, I am. So I will be streaming consistently, but I won't be doing it on this channel anymore. Moving forward, I'm going to be streaming on my second channel, Jordan Green Unfiltered. Go and subscribe to that channel if you want more streams. The only reason why I'm not streaming on that channel today is because I didn't know that you had to request access to streaming. I literally didn't know that. So I think starting next Sunday, I'll be able to stream on that channel. Good day, Jordan Green. How are you? I hope that all is well. What's good, Eel? I appreciate you for tuning in, bro, always. What's good, Ice Cold Tristan 2.0? What's good, Golden Nagoma? Good evening. Cooking with Jordan. Hey, we're out here. Cooking with Nadia. Wait, Jordan, I just realized you and your girlfriend live in an apartment now. Stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say. Stay tuned for... Should be tomorrow, I think. I think tomorrow I'll be elaborating a little more on that. But the short answer is yes, we do. What's good, Cal Coors? Am I saying that correctly? What's good, back routine win? Muya, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. If you want to know my back routine, my chest and back routine, my leg routine, all of that, then click the link in the description. That's all I'm going to say. Click the link in the description and I can put you on all the game you need. Nutrition, I can show you or explain to you not even what I eat, but how I structure my diet. And I can explain in full detail exactly how I was able to transform my physique. I'm still very far off from where I want to be, but... Oh, shit. Is everything okay over there?
It's frozen.
Oh.
Because the fridge was so cold.
Oops. What's good, Kale the Messenger? Hope everyone's having a great day. I'm assuming you meant. What's good, Quincy? Beginning was so out of context. Yeah, we were a little tight on time. We just got finished running sprints, which was very interesting. We just finished running sprints, and on the way back, we saw a stray cat, and we had to stop and interact with it a little bit. So we were really tight on time when we got back. What's good, Ruben Willis? What's good, AG? What's good, Aaron B? Do y'all split the bills or do you pay all of the bills? So that's a pretty good question. Basically, I don't want to give too much context into the move that we made, into why we made this move. But the arrangement right now is that I'm the one who paid for the rent. And it's more so because, wait, is something wrong with the audio? Can you hear me? Is the audio good? Let me not go any further until we confirm that. Is the audio good? Audio is great. Okay, good. I appreciate the confirmation, Doom and Quincy. Aaron Beat is going in and out. Okay, I'm not sure if it's just my end or if that's just on your end. Just had to refresh the page. Good audio. Okay, so basically for this month, we're only here for 1 month. We're only in this particular place for 1 month. So how do I put this? I'm trying to explain this without revealing too much, but basically, yes, I'm paying the bills for this month, if that makes sense. But it's a long story. I'm not even gonna get into that, because if I told you the whole story in context, it would make sense. But yeah, is the rent in the Netherlands expensive? It is. This place we got a pretty good deal on, I think, personally. And I'll explain how much the rent is for this place in tomorrow's video. But yeah. Jordan, can you say why you can't tell us specifically, like go more in depth? It's kept a secret. Well, if I tell you why I can't tell you, then I mean, that would be telling you. But I'm going to just put it like this. I don't want anybody, especially because I know I have people who value the things that I say. I don't want to damage anybody's reputation, because nobody involved in this situation is a bad person. But I'm going to just leave it at this. We just decided on very short notice that it was best for us to have our own place. I'm going to just kind of leave it at that. And again, nobody involved in the situation is a bad person at all. But yeah, we just decided on very short notice that it would be best for us to have our own place. To be honest, I feel like we decided as a group, we decided as a collective, the two of us, but I'm impulsive. If you've been watching my channel for long enough, you know I'm impulsive. I know I sound really cryptic. I'm giving you the politician answers right now, but that's kind of the best I could do at the moment. I basically just, on a Wednesday night, I sort of decided that it would be best for us to leave, and then she agreed with me, and Friday morning we were gone. He said, it's always your final live stream, bro. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this is not my final live stream. It's just my final live stream on this particular channel. But to be fair, the last time I titled a live stream this right here, anything pertaining to this being my last live stream, I think I went almost 2 years without streaming. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know I did the stream in 2022, and I didn't stream again until 2024. But anytime I've ever said, let me just tell you this, okay? Anytime I've ever said, this is my last live stream, or I'm quitting YouTube, so on and so forth, I meant it. I never just made a video like that and didn't mean what I was saying. I've quit YouTube many, many times. It's just that I always came back. Yes, you went almost 2 years without live streaming. Yeah. Let me see. Hold on. I feel like I skipped a lot of questions. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, this is a good question right here. Does having dark and negative thoughts make you a bad person if you don't act on them? I get a lot of dark, intrusive thoughts, sometimes evil, but I never act on them, thankfully. Am I a bad person? Well, the answer to that is I don't know. I don't know. Either both of us are evil or neither of us is evil, because I have the same thing. I think that everybody has dark, intrusive thoughts. But of course, the people who act on them, those are the people who are perceived as evil. But if you read some of the poems that I've written, and those poems are never going to see the light of day, best believe, but if you read some of the poems that I've written, you would probably see me a little bit differently than you do right now. I'm going to be honest with you. I do have a dark side, and I think everybody does. I think it's more about how you harness your dark side to serve people. And that's kind of tricky, I think, for a lot of people. But let's say, for example, in 2020, dealing with heartbreak, I had a lot of dark thoughts. Not anything that would have, let's say, put me in jail or anything like that, but just in terms of my self-talk. My self-talk became very negative. I was very hard on myself. And ultimately, my goal at that time was to sort of make her feel the way that I felt about myself. I wanted her to feel rejection the same way that I was feeling rejection. Of course, I never would have said that at the time, but that's what I wanted. And I used that fuel to continue creating content, which ultimately helped thousands of young men, maybe yourself included, transform their lives. And so the net effect of that turned out to be positive, even though my motivation was coming from a very dark place. I know that might not be what you mean in terms of darkness. And again, I have truly dark thoughts as well. But I think that ultimately the action is what defines who you are. Or rather, action is how you measure who you are. Do you live on your own with your girl or with her parents? We live on our own. Why can't you tell the whole story in context? Again, just for the sake of maintaining people's reputations. Because the thing is, it's one of those things where I knew that this move, I think kind of everybody knew that this move would benefit everyone involved. Everyone involved would benefit greatly from this move. And so far, it seems like that's been the case. So it was a small price to pay, but honestly, the peace of mind that we've been able to experience being in our own place is just... This is an interesting one, wow. I feel as though destiny has shifted since 2017. You were supposed to have a Rolls Royce, man. People I thought were super talented didn't get to reach their full peak. What happened? What happened is your time horizon is too small. And that's something that when I was younger, Rocket P13, just based on that, and I want you to tell me if I'm wrong. Just tell me if I'm wrong here. But just based on your comment right there, I'm going to assume that you're somewhere between 16 and 20 years old. 16 and 20, maybe 21 at the oldest. The reason why I know that is because when you're young, you struggle to think in long time horizons. So what I've come to realize is that a lot of people, my younger self included, they see people online who are doing very well, and they assume that it only took them a couple of years to get there. But anybody who has a Rolls Royce or is living that kind of lifestyle, that top 0.1% lifestyle, they spent at least 10 years building up to that point. Either they spent at least 10 years or they're living above their means. Or they won the lottery. But as far as people reaching their full potential, it's like, hold on. I know in my case specifically, I'm 24 years old. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not really scheduled to reach my full potential until I'm around probably 45, 50, somewhere in that range. So I mean, I'm nowhere close to my full potential. I've seen a lot of other people who are very talented who have quote unquote fallen off, or who have not really gotten to where I would have expected them to either, in different domains of life. And what I've realized is, wait a minute, these people are also in their early to mid 20s or even in their 30s, which when you're a teenager, 30 seems like it's so far away, but it's March 9th. I turned 25 in 5 days here. I'm just as close to being 30 as I am to being 20. And I can tell you that 30 is still young. 30 is young, 35 is young, 45 is young. That's still very young. Your life is really still just starting. I mean, if you're 45, you're probably about halfway through your life at that point. And the first 15 to 20 years of your life, you don't even know what you're doing. So I know I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but yeah, don't don't compress those timelines down too far like that. What I mean by that is, if you have this expectation of other people, let's hope that this buffering doesn't continue. Let's hope that this buffering does not continue. Is the stream still good? Oh, well, I'm going to assume the stream is still good. So basically, yeah, if you have that kind of expectation of other people, you're also going to have that kind of expectation of yourself. And what's going to happen is, when you start that new endeavor and it doesn't work out in the first 6 months, you're going to quit because you're expecting fast results, not realizing that the people who are rich in their early 20s actually started when they were 10. It's just that you don't really see that side of it. You only see where they are right now. You see that they were an overnight success, but you don't see that that night lasted 10 years long. So I would say, if you're young, if I could tell my younger self anything, I would probably tell him to expand the time horizons. And if you're young, it's lagging. The audio is great, but the video is laggy. Okay, as long as you can hear what I'm saying, that's what really matters. If you're young, if you're below the age of 22, 21, expand your time horizon. Expand your time horizon. If you're starting your first business at 19, you're not going to be rich at 21. You're not going to be rich even at 25, more than likely, but you can get rich at 30. You can get rich at 30. You can get rich at 35. And if you become rich at 35, if you become rich at 50, if at 50 years old you buy your first Lamborghini, no one's going to think you're a failure. Nobody is going to think you're a failure for that. You said Jordan's moving in screenshots. That's crazy. Do you miss the States? I don't miss the States in and of themselves. I more so miss my family and friends. But honestly, if they didn't live in the US, I don't know that I'd feel compelled to go back. Truthfully. I do kind of miss LA. I do have a lot of nostalgic emotions associated with LA, but I don't really feel super compelled to go back. This means no music stream. Damn. The music stream's going to come next Sunday. So the first stream that I do on the second channel is going to be a music stream. Because I've been wanting to do that for some weeks now, honestly. I don't know why I haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, we're definitely going to do that. "50 is too old to enjoy it though. 30 years old, you're still young enough to have fun." Cal, okay, how old are you? Because I think based on what you're saying there, the thing is, I feel like once you hit about 23, 24 or something like that, for me it was probably around 23 years old, time just starts moving a little differently. And you realize that, oh shit, I was just 20 not that long ago, and now I'm pushing 25. Soon I'll be pushing 30. The older you get, the faster time moves. And you can ask your parents, you can ask literally anybody who's older if that's the case, and they'll tell you that it's true. So the thing is, 50 seems like it's very far away, but it's really not. It's really not, especially as an adult. You sort of fall into these routines and the time just passes by. And here's the thing. The time is going to pass either way. You're 20, exactly. So that's the thing. It's like when you're 20, when you're 18, when you're 19, your perception of time is so warped because you haven't spent that much time being an adult yet. You haven't really spent much time being an adult. Is it just me or is he laggy? Yeah, I'm laggy. As long as the audio is good for now, this is just the way it'll have to be, I guess. Unfortunately, but yeah. Time horizons, that's very, very important. Very important as a young person to expand that time horizon and just be patient and know that the time's going to pass no matter what. Like athletes, they go pro at 20 or after, but they start playing decades before. Exactly. It's the same exact thing. That's a great example, actually, because when you look at most athletes who are really rich and they're 19, 20 years old signing these multi-million-dollar contracts, most of them started playing sports when they were 5 or 6 years old. And especially, I don't know about maybe football, but I know in basketball, the NBA, I mean, these people, they're committing to just basketball a lot of the time. From age 12 up, they're just only playing basketball. Maybe they're running in AAU circuits, all of that. They've put in so much time into the game that basically, if you compare that time horizon, not just in terms of the time passed, but in terms of the amount of work put in, you're looking at somebody who's basically spent probably 25 to 30 years perfecting their craft. And so it's no different when you start a business and you want to make money doing that. It's like you have to spend that same amount of time. Now, what you can do is you can take that 25 to 30 years and you can compress it down by just working harder and by truly investing yourself into that endeavor, by taking courses, by finding mentors, by literally just inundating yourself in that world. You can compress the time frame, but there are no shortcuts. You can't cheat the process, but you can speed it up. Two different things. You have to walk the path, but you can walk the path as fast as you want. What about Hamza, Ahmed, or Iman Gatsi, who made thousands and millions in 2 years? Like Hamza making a shit ton of money in just 3 years. So with Hamza, honestly, I don't know too much about his background particularly, but I don't want to speak on him in a negative light, but I will say I don't know his pockets, right? I'm not a big pocket watcher in that regard, but I don't think his business is doing as well as it was a couple of years ago. I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I wish him all the success in the world, but from what I understand from the outside looking in, it seems like his business isn't doing quite as well, and that's not coincidental. It's because when you have that microwave success, a lot of times it doesn't last for as long. You can't cheat the process. Not to say that he did, but I digress. Iman Gajdi, that's a whole different thing, because if you go to his channel and you sort his videos by oldest, which is why, by the way, if you're a content creator, I would highly recommend that you never delete your old videos, no matter how cringeworthy you think they are. Sort his videos by oldest and look at how long he's been doing this for. Look at how long he's been doing this for, because it wasn't no damn 2 years, bro. People have been putting in years. Years. It's the things that you don't see, the things that they didn't document, that you have to account for. So it's the person who was selling water bottles or candy at school when they were 8 years old. You have to consider that. You have to take that into consideration when you look at their time horizon. You have to look at all of the steps leading up to them figuring out what the right path even is. That's the thing that people don't want to experience for themselves. They don't want to go through that. They don't want to go through that exploratory process of not knowing what the fuck they're doing. I think I said this in a recent video, but when it comes to being an entrepreneur, a lot of the difficulty isn't even running the race and getting to the finish line. The hardest thing you're ever going to do is find the starting line in the first place. You have to find the starting line before you can even begin running the race, much less make it to the finish line. And then you get to the finish line and you realize, oh shit, there is no finish line. It was just a mirage, an illusion. It just keeps going. But yeah, I know I'm just going on a big rant there, but bro, I really truly need you to understand that it's not going to happen as quickly as you think it will. And if it does, if you somehow start at 19 years old and you get rich at 21, by 23, you're probably going to have crashed out. And I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that doesn't happen to anyone, but some people need it. Some people need that crash out in order to build the character. Because really, what the process does, the reason why you can't cheat the process, is because cheating the process means that you don't have the character development required to sustain your success. And so when I look back on some of the things I've experienced in the past couple of years, I needed a lot of it. I needed to go live in my car. I needed to watch my channel wither away. I needed to experience the hate comments. I needed to experience all of the challenges and setbacks that I faced in order to become who I am right now. And who am I right now? I'm the person that's capable of doing the things that I'm doing right now. Right? And we can measure this in a lot of different ways. We can measure this in money or YouTube success or whatever. But I'm going to just say this, right? Over the next week, just over this next week, here's what I want you to do, okay? Just to show you that I'm not bullshitting. Also, just to show you that success isn't a coincidence. That when you're a professional at something, you can actually predict success more often than not. I want you to look at the views my videos have gotten over the past week. Okay, I want you to go and average it out for yourself. Add all the numbers up and then divide that by 6 or 7, however many videos I posted. Not this last week, but the last week before that when I was still posting consistently on this channel. And then what I want you to do is at the end of this upcoming week, so next Sunday, I want you to average out the views that I've received on the videos that I've posted this upcoming week. And what you're going to see, average a shit ton more views. And it's not going to be a coincidence. It's because I know what race to run, I know where the starting line is, and now I have the character to actually run that race. And you're going to see, wow, how did he know that that was going to happen? He must be some sort of sidekick or something. No, I just know the game. I know the game, and I'm the person who's capable of playing it. But, yeah. I know I just skipped over a lot of questions here, so I'm going to go ahead and scroll back up. Nomads can't open a bank account in the Netherlands. Smoker X, whoever told you that is feeding you false information, because I have 2 bank accounts here. I have a business account and a personal account. But you do need some information as a quote-unquote nomad. You do have to, I forgot what it was. There are a few sort of stipulations that you have to make sure that you take care of or adhere to. Jordan, you're born in the year 2000? Yes. Being born in 2000 must be an awesome feeling, as your age will always be the last 2 digits of the year without having to add or subtract to calculate one's age. Yeah, honestly, I don't even really keep track of my age like that anymore. I feel like once you get to a certain point... Hold on, my shit looks like it's lagging kind of hard right now. I apologize about the lag. I can't really do too much about that at the moment, but... Yeah, is the audio still good? Is the audio still good? Okay, I don't know what's going on right now. But what question was I even answering? I forgot. Oh yeah. Once I hit about 23 years old, give or take, I sort of just stopped keeping track of my age because it doesn't matter anymore. It's like 23, 26, it's all the same stuff. Same shit, different toilet. All those YouTubers sold courses to get rich quick. So again, the thing is, you're looking at the climax of their story, but you're not looking at the rising action or the introduction. You're not looking at the prelude to their story. You're not looking at the prequel. There was a whole other story before that and the prequel to that one. You have to look at that whole time horizon. That's what I'm saying. You only see what they show you. But you wouldn't know that, oh, Hamza, and this is something that literally just popped up in my head because I just remembered it. Hamza had a YouTube channel when he was, I think, 13 or 14. Somewhere in his teenage years when he was a kid, he had a YouTube channel where I think he was posting gaming content or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know too much about Hamza, but I do know that. And that's also something that I've realized is that a lot of people who succeed on YouTube have tried YouTube in the past when they were kids. As a matter of fact, I posted a few videos myself when I was a kid. Ironically, the first video I ever posted was a hair video. I was 12 years old. It was a hair video. And one of the first videos of mine as an adult that ended up popping off was my hair tutorial. So, I don't know, it's just interesting. Jordan, have you ever had therapy? If so, how was it? What are your thoughts on it? I did do therapy from October 2021 to around June or July of 2022. And it was great. It was great. It was really nice, especially given that I had just moved into my new apartment and I was kind of lonely. And I sort of needed somebody to just bounce ideas off of or just talk to and not even receive advice, but just express myself to. I think I really needed that at that particular time. What systems do you have in place to keep you on track to your goals as an entrepreneur? So my biggest thing is my planner. I use my digital planner template, which you can get by clicking the link in the description as well. But I use that to literally just determine which actions I need to take on a day-to-day basis. And then from there, I tend to be pretty routine oriented and I am kind of rigid in my routine. But even when I break my routine, what matters is that I complete all of the tasks. So as long as I'm completing all of my tasks, that's my system. So it's not like I have these robust, complex systems in place. It's more just I take the actions that I need to take, and that's pretty much all it comes down to. So do you think all these new self-improvement channels like sit-downs or stick figure channels that have been popping up are destined to fall off, just like the 2020 quarantine self that fall off? So my thing is, with YouTube, you are pretty much destined to fall off in general if you don't know how and when to adapt. A while back, I read 50 Cent's autobiography, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, and something that really stuck out to me within that autobiography was he said the writing is never on the wall. I think that was the title of the chapter, actually. If you can go on YouTube and find this chapter, I would highly recommend you listen to it. But the writing is never on the wall. And what he means by that is nobody's just going to come up to you and say, bro, it's time to transition. Nobody's going to come up to you and just say that. You have to be able to see that. You have to be somewhat of a visionary in the sense that you have to see that, okay, this niche is sort of starting to become oversaturated, and it's nice that people feel empowered to make this kind of content, and that maybe I've played a role in empowering people to create this kind of content, but maybe it's time to move on to the next thing. And what I found, and you tell me if you know of somebody who's an exception to this, but pretty much every content creator that I've seen that has sustained success over a long period of time without being a news channel, I'll get to that in a second, every one of them, without being a news channel, has transitioned from one thing to another. So one example of this would be, let's say, Flight Reacts. Flight Reacts and Cash Nasty. Both of them, I watched them 14 years old, 2014. I'm talking about Cash Nasty sitting in the bathtub with the Cheeto Puffs, talking about 100K, okay? I was there. I was present when that happened. I wasn't in the house, but I watched it. So, Cash Nasty, what he did, he came up doing gaming videos. In fact, his name was Cash Nasty Gaming. But around 2016, 2017, he started to transition into IRL content. So I don't think he was doing a whole lot of pranks. He maybe did a few, but he was doing sneaker videos. So he was buying sneakers. He was maybe visiting Flight Club in New York, documenting that. He was just generally vlogging and doing IRL content. And he caught that at just the right time. He made the transition. I watched as people who came up next to him in the gaming community didn't make the transition and ultimately fell off because of it. Because the gaming community, the 2K community in particular, really started to become oversaturated. And so Cash and Flight Reacts, another great example of this, he came up doing gaming content, and then he sort of started trolling and doing NBA live videos, things like that. But ultimately with him, he transitioned into reactions, and as everyone here probably knows, that's how he blew up. I'm saying this to say that you have to know when to make that transition. In 50 Cent's case, it wasn't even a matter of transitioning niches within music. It was transitioning from music to TV. And he became an executive producer of some very well-known TV shows. And that is how he was able to transition while still staying within the entertainment industry. Nobody is going to keep doing the same shit for 15 years and be successful at it. You have to transition. You have to move within the front-facing space. If you're just an entrepreneur who runs a store or something like that, then it's possible that, hey, I can just keep running gyms until I'm 80 years old. But if you're going to be a content creator or a musician or an actor or anything like that, your shelf life is short unless you transition. I know I'm really going on a tangent here, going on a rant, but that's the thing, man. You're going to fall off. You're going to fall off if you don't transition. And as far as the news channels go, basically what I mean by that is, let's say a channel like Doug DeMuro. If you're into cars, you know who Doug DeMuro is. He's a news channel disguised as a car channel. What I mean by that is, he makes videos about cars, but really what keeps his channel going is that he always has new cars to talk about. So he's able to leverage these trending cars, these trending topics within the scheme of what he's doing, how he's operating his business. Graham Stephan, another example, in the finance side of things, he makes finance content, maybe talking about real estate, investing, things like that, but there is always more news to share about investing, about real estate, so on and so forth. Politics channels, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. Marquez Brownlee, a tech channel, he's not just making tech videos, he's talking about new technology. And there's always going to be a new phone coming out, new tablet coming out, new video game console, new car coming out. There's always something new for these people to cover. If you're not in a niche like that, and I would say reaction videos fall into this category as well. If you're not in a niche like that, you have to learn how to transition. Another example of this is Sniper Wolf. She made gaming videos back in the day. I remember watching her. I remember watching her play Call of Duty. I was like, wow, this girl is kind of fucking cold at Call of Duty. And over time, I mean, she already had a big presence, but over time, even though she had millions of subscribers, she knew, I need to transition. And so she transitioned into the reaction space, and we see how that's turned out for her. At least last I checked, she had 20 million plus subscribers. Mr. Beast, he transitioned from doing these extreme challenges, counting to 1 million on live stream, stuff like that, to making these very well-produced movies, for lack of a better term. So that's the thing, bro. When it comes to YouTube, I don't know, bro. I get passionate talking about this because I know what it's like to quote-unquote fall off, but then I also know what it's like to rebuild yourself up. And so again, this upcoming week, I want you to just watch how my views increase. How there's this dramatic spike in views simply because I know how the game works. And if there isn't a dramatic spike in my views at all throughout this upcoming week, then maybe it's actually time for me to retire and go back to college. It might be, if that happens. But I would bet all of my money that that's not going to happen. That I'm actually going to see an uptick in views because I know what the audience wants and I'm willing to deliver it and I'm capable of delivering it. So yeah, David Cornett, I see you with the eye emojis. You'll see. You are going to see. Is this truly your final stream? So if you are just now joining in the stream, this is not my final stream in general. This is just my final stream on this channel. So if you want to watch streams moving forward, I'm still going to stream every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central European time. If you want to watch my streams moving forward, then you can click the link that Eel has dropped in the chat. Eel, I appreciate you for doing that. And that will take you to my second channel, and you can subscribe to that channel, which is also where I will be putting my self-improvement content. Hello, how are you, Jordan? I'm doing great, Gym Improvement. How are you doing? How do I find friends like you? You seem like a cool, thoughtful, and genuinely good dude. My friends are so rude, selfish, and obnoxious. I really wish I had a friend like you. First of all, I appreciate you, bro. I truly appreciate you. And what I would say is, if you want to join a community of like-minded young men who are pretty much all like me in some way, shape, or form. So you're literally getting multiple me's in a sense. Of course, everyone's their own person, but just people that you know you'll resonate with because you resonate with me. And if you want to talk to me every single week and be a part of these very insightful conversations, you can click the link in the description and I can take care of that loneliness problem for you very, very soon. And I would love to speak to you this upcoming Thursday, as a matter of fact. So you click that link and I can get you right, bro. What was the thing you changed to finally see some awesome gains/results? I've been working out for a while and struggled to put on muscle as a vegan. So honestly, what it really comes down to is you have to track your stuff. You can't leave it up to chance. That's something that I used to do, and it's not going to get you any gains. It's just not going to get you gains. So what you need to do is you need a system. You need a system in place to ensure that you are on track, that you're getting the macros you need, that you are able to get as much protein, rest, your recovery is dialed in, that you're doing something that you can sustain over time, that you're getting enough volume, that you're hitting the muscles that you need to hit without being in the gym for 3 hours a day, 25 days a week, whatever. If you want my system, you can click the link in the description and you can get the full system, the whole entire system, top to bottom. But if you don't want to click the link in the description, that's fine. Just know that you have to track everything. So track your calories, track your protein, make sure that you're getting enough sleep every night, track your workouts, make sure that you're progressing in your workouts, because if you don't give your muscles a reason to grow, they're not going to grow. They need sufficient stimulus, meaning that they need intensity plus volume. But yeah, Sniper Wolf is now at 34.9 million subscribers. See, that's crazy, bro. Honestly, I'm a YouTube head. I really am a YouTube head. Where's my water at? I really am a YouTube head. I've been watching a lot of these people since I was 10 or 11 years old. And it's interesting to see who has really been able to sustain their success or even ascend beyond where they were at that point. And to see who wasn't able to do that, even though they had the ability to do it. Have you tried YouTube automation? No, I haven't done that myself. I think that for me, I don't know, I might just be wired a bit differently, but I actually thrive with the connection aspect. So I like doing live streams. I like making content that allows me to connect with my community, meaning you. So for me, that's just more of my path. But I'm pretty sure YouTube automation can be lucrative. I think that the constraint with that might just be longevity. Because, of course, you can sort of adapt your content over time. But I think that with automation, you're not going to get people invested in you as a person. And so you're not going to have those people who just stick around no matter what. Even if that core group isn't that big, it's like I know that there is a core group of people out there who are going to watch me no matter what because they like me for me. And honestly, if you're in this stream, you're probably one of those people who are watching the majority of my content, even if it's not something you're particularly interested in at the time, because you just like me as a person. So that's my thing with YouTube. But YouTube automation can be good. I would say that with that though, the play is probably to scale a channel, maybe 2 or 3 channels, and use that as your sort of case study to teach other people how to do it. That's how I would approach something like that personally. But I'm more in the business of personal branding, so that's more of my thing. So if you had to summarize your final thoughts about nofap, what would you say that is good to stop or not? Okay, so I'm assuming you're asking, is nofap worth it? That's basically how I'm perceiving that question. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that with nofap, you don't need nofap to be successful. And I think that throughout a lot of my nofap videos, I said that, but I didn't actually believe it myself. When I was younger, I thought that nofap was sort of the secret sauce to my success in a lot of ways. But what I realized over time was, well, I went the first 18 years of my life with nofap. I mean, just naturally doing nofap, because I didn't start doing PMO until I was, 18, 19, something like that. I think I was in college. And I didn't have any results to show for it. I didn't have any results at all. I think that for me, I developed that belief because of the unique situation I was in. So in my particular case, for that time, I had to do nofap to be successful, because nofap was my anchor topic, meaning that that was what garnered the majority of my audience at that time. And so for me to make the nofap content and to become a credible face within the space, I actually had to do nofap myself. And so I developed this sort of false belief that if I just did nofap, all of my problems would be solved. And so whenever I basically fell off, or whatever we want to call it, right? There were seasons where I would do nofap thinking that that was going to change things. But then everything would stay the same. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? Why isn't this working anymore? And what I realized is it wasn't ever about nofap. It's not even about deleting social media, or what else? What's something else that... What are some other self-improvement habits that involve not doing things?
Yeah. Maybe not eating junk food, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, not consuming sugar, not watching YouTube or Netflix. It's like those things, if you cut all of that out, you're still not going to be successful unless you do the work. So it's actually the doing, it's the discipline of doing the things that you don't want to do, of filming the videos on the days when you don't want to film, that's going to move the needle the most. Nofap isn't going to make you stronger in the gym. Working out is going to make you stronger in the gym. And then nofap, deleting social media, maybe removing junk food, things of that nature, just cutting out dopamine. These are amplifiers. These are going to be amplifiers for you that allow you to accelerate your progress, because you're getting out of your own way. Because obviously, if you're sitting there watching pornography all day and beating your shit to pornography, you're messing around with your dopamine receptors. You're making life literally less enjoyable for yourself. And you may not enjoy the process of putting in the work as much. And so you might start to cut corners. This is all just bro science, by the way. But the point is, don't think that nofap is an adequate substitute for putting in the work. And actually, on that note, I need to change this battery of this camera before it dies. Okay, we are back. How can I grow a mustache and goatee like yours? None of the guys in my family can grow any facial hairs other than a light mustache. So, truthfully, I don't know what my genetics are like, because I've never seen my dad try to grow facial hair out, and he's the only male reference point that I have. But I will say that actually I did struggle with growing my goatee out for a long time. I think it took me 2 years to grow out that chin hair I used to have, the little bullshit chin hair that I used to have for whatever reason. But part of it is maybe puberty. I think I kind of went through a second wave of puberty in my early 20s. But also, I used the Copenhagen Grooming Beard Growth Kit. I think I made a video about that a while back. I used the beard growth kit, and although I wasn't able to grow a full beard, maybe I just didn't do it for long enough, but although I wasn't able to grow a full beard, I feel like it did help me grow this out a lot quicker. So I would definitely look into that. You can look at my video, I think it was called I Tried a Beard Growth Kit for 60 Days, something like that. Go and check that video out. I remember watching Mr. Beast 4 years ago when he was at around 50 million subscribers. Now he has 371 million subscribers. First of all, saying I remember watching him at 50 million subscribers, like that's something slight, is crazy. But second of all, 371, by the way, I'm still eating my breakfast. I haven't finished my breakfast yet. It's almost 8 p.m. But let me go ahead and eat my breakfast. 371 million subscribers is fucking insane. Oh. And my oats are kind of melting. That's not very pleasant.
This chicken hits every time.
The
chicken hits every time.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna eat today. I might do the... Yeah, I might do that.
I guess the burger's bad. I'm eating all of it.
Yeah. I sent a letter to a girl at my school for St. Valentine, and we talked for like a week on Instagram before meeting in person, and what we did, I just tried to be myself and make her laugh, which worked. But when we had to go home, I asked her if we could continue chatting in the afternoon, and she said yes, but she ghosted me for 3 days, and she also hid her IG stories from me. In the end, she told me she didn't want to give me fake hopes and that she didn't like me, but she unhid her stories to me after that. Well, it sounds to me like she disqualified herself. So be grateful, because imagine if she had led you on and you went on more dates with this girl thinking that she liked you, and it turns out that she actually didn't, and then she ghosted you. Imagine how you'd feel then. Or you can just look at my story and you can see how I felt about that. And you can see that that is not something you want to experience. So I would say, I know it probably hurts. It always hurts to be rejected. But if you can reframe rejection as simply someone disqualifying themselves, because you're being yourself, you're being who you are, you're using your own sense of humor, that's great. If she sees who you are and she doesn't like who you are, then that's not somebody you would want to be with, I'm assuming. Because why would you want to be with somebody who doesn't like you for you? Imagine you have to spend all this time. Do you know how much time? Listen, do you see this woman back there? Do you know how much time we spend together on a daily basis in the same room? If we didn't like each other, if she didn't like me for me, imagine spending probably, how many hours a day do you think we spend just in here?
Yeah, most of it.
They're probably about 14 hours a day, something like that.
Yeah.
Imagine spending 14 hours a day and then another 8 at night. So that's 22 hours a day with somebody who doesn't even like who you are. Just envision that. That's true pain. Jordan, have you ever cold approached women for the purpose of dating? I did do a few cold approaches, mostly for entertainment purposes, either for content or just to entertain my friends or even myself. I don't think that cold approaching is a very efficient way of approaching women. I just don't think it's an efficient way. And I talk about this in my coaching program, link in the description, but the reason why I don't think cold approaching is efficient is because you don't have enough information about the girl before you're approaching her. And of course, you can say, well, of course, that's why I'm approaching her, is to learn more about her. But the thing is, if you're in this situation where you literally have no context, if you see a girl and you don't know what to say to her, that's probably not a girl you should be approaching. Because if you think about it, let's say you're pursuing one of your passions. Let's say you're hiking. Let's say you're really into hiking. You're hiking maybe with a group of people, and within the group, there's a girl. Like, okay, she's kind of attractive. But if you talk to her, what are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about hiking. It's already there. So you're still approaching girls. I don't think approaching girls is bad. I think that cold approaching girls is bad. Not bad, but inefficient. It's inefficient because you don't have enough context on which to base your approach. You don't know if this person is actually compatible with you. And by the time you figure out that she's incompatible with you, even if things quote unquote work out initially, you might be married with kids. And then you realize, oh shit, we actually aren't a very good match together. We aren't even into the same things. So, yeah, that's my thing. That is my thing right there. I just feel like, I don't know. I just think it's bad advice, honestly. I think it's bad advice when people say just cold approach to find love. I don't really understand that. I don't understand why people say stuff like that, because I've never actually seen a long-lasting or happy relationship that started off from a cold approach. I've just never seen it. just never seen it before. Again, approaching is not only good, it's necessary. Somebody has to approach somebody in order for people to meet. That's a prerequisite. Whether you approach her or she approaches you, doesn't really matter. Cold approaching is just not a good strategy. Same thing with when we talk about cold DMing, cold calling, cold anything when it comes to building relationships. I just don't think it's a good idea. I just think it's a waste of time, and time is very valuable because you can't get it back. How do I know if I'm being friend zoned or if someone has interest in me in a romantic way? So women, I've noticed at least, if you're asking a question like that, the woman that you're dealing with is probably very subtle in how she communicates with you. And what I've realized is that with women like that, right, women like that, okay, like her, you have to read between the lines. And what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, if she's sending you songs that convey romantic interest, she's trying to communicate something to you. Maybe she's not, but she probably is. You have to be able to read between the lines with people like that. And honestly, I feel like at the same time, if you're asking that question and you're currently dealing with somebody, maybe it's just not the right person. Because I also feel like even though women tend to communicate in subtle ways, a lot of times they're going to make it pretty obvious for you. They're going to make it relatively obvious to the extent that you would have to really, really talk yourself out of it in order to not see what she's doing or what she's trying to communicate to you. Gonna get 600 push-ups done for Jordan Green right now. What's up from Russia? Yo, I appreciate you for tapping in. I think you might be the first person I've ever seen from Russia to tap into one of my streams, so I appreciate you, bro. And 600 push-ups is absolutely diabolical. I wish you all the best with that, because that's crazy. Thanks, Jordan. I just can't understand why she seemed to be feeling me for the humor, but not for my look, which is not really bad, to be honest. You gave me a great view of rejection. I'm glad I asked you about it. Well, I'm glad I was able to help you. And I mean, you don't necessarily know, unless she told you explicitly, you don't necessarily know that she didn't like the way that you look. Look, bro, women are complex creatures. Women are very complex. I learned that shit the hard way. I feel like men tend to be a little more straightforward and simple. It's either they like you or they don't. With women, I feel like sometimes they like you and they don't like you at the same time. And it's confusing. I still haven't been able to figure that shit out. Grateful that I don't have to figure that shit out moving forward, because that is a big weight off my chest. But yeah, I don't know. Just take the blessing and keep it pushing. I'm in my last ever semester of college and I still have never had a girlfriend and still a virgin. I'm stressing out because I feel like it's not going to get easier after graduating. What do I do? First of all, we need to reframe your situation. So you said you're in your last semester of college, which means you're probably around 23 years old. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're probably around 23. No, you're probably about 22. At 22 years old, right, I want you to just think about this for a second. Let's completely forget about you, right? Let's think about if you had a friend who's 22 years old and was in your exact position. Just visualize this person. Do your best to emotionally detach. If that person at 22 years old met the love of their life tomorrow and got married next year at 23, what would you think? Now, of course, there are cultural differences and expectations associated with them, but you would probably think, wow, they're pretty young to be getting married. Maybe they have kids the next year, 24. It's like, damn, he's a 24-year-old father. That's young. That is very young. And so what you need to understand is you feel like you're behind, but it's not a race. You're not racing anybody. It's not about getting to the finish line, because there is no finish line when it comes to dating, because when you get in a relationship, you keep going. The idea is you want to find somebody who you can trust to walk alongside you as you progress through your journey. And so what you need to do is you need to focus on pursuing your own path. And that includes your profession, that includes your passions, that includes your purpose. Focus on pursuing that and trust that the right person is going to emerge at the right time, and she will be worth the wait. Because when I was 20 years old, I was a virgin myself. I was a 20-year-old virgin. I had never had a girlfriend. I had never kissed a girl at 20. And all three of those things happened when I was 20 years old. All three of them. Back to back to back. Things can change very quickly. You only have to find that person. Oh, I guess those people didn't necessarily end up being sort of the long-term answer. But I'm saying this to say that things can change very quickly. I mean, even after those situations didn't work out, I ended up with my girlfriend now. Okay. This one over here. I ended up with her at 22 years old. 22. And I mean, 22 is still young. So, yeah, bro, that's what it comes down to. You just need to reframe your situation. And again, it comes back to what I was saying earlier. You need to expand that time horizon. If you're young, if you're 21, 22, you're 18, 19, start thinking in longer time horizons. If you find the love of your life at 27 years old, I know that might feel like it's a long way away, but if you live to be 87 years old and you find her at 27, you still have 60 years with her. 60 years. But how do we deal with getting criticism and shame for being a virgin? Our family members like cousins and siblings make fun. Well, let me ask you this. How many of them are in happy, successful, long-lasting relationships? Really think about that. I don't know. To me, it's kind of like, it's like when people work at a bullshit job that they hate and they get on you for starting a business. It's like, well, you don't even have the life that I want. So why would I care what you think about my life? If anything, if you're criticizing me, that means I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing something right, because that means I'm not going in the same direction as you. So, I don't know, Cal, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, are any of those people actually in happy, long-lasting relationships? Because based on what you've just said about them, I have to assume that they're relatively, and I don't mean to speak down on your family, but they just sound like they're kind of insufferable people who women wouldn't necessarily want to be around for extended periods of time. Unless they're extremely insecure women. Which, that's not really the kind of woman that you would really want to build with. That's a great question. What are your thoughts on dating apps? I'm 24, never had a girlfriend, don't really talk to any girls. How do I meet/talk to more women now that I've finished uni? So, again, bro, coaching program. Bro, I go so in depth on all of this stuff. And this is all top of mind because I've literally been building out these modules specifically for people in your situation. But when it comes to meeting more women, what I found is if you can increase your online presence, this doesn't mean trying to get clout. This means putting yourself out there. If you can just do that and be authentic, you're going to attract people to you. So I've always felt like it was more efficient to attract people to me than to be somebody who tries to go after somebody else. And I don't know, that approach has worked very well for me in my life. How do I get over my crippling height insecurity? I'm 5'2". I have a friend, shout out to Doug. He is on a good day, 5'4.5", on his best day with Timberlands on. I want to say he got into his first relationship well before I got into my first relationship. In fact, not to put his business out there or anything, but he's married. So, I mean, if you're thinking that women aren't going to like you because you're short, then you're right. There are some women out there who aren't going to like you. But the good thing is that you can't hide the fact that you're short. It's not like you have this crippling insecurity about something that nobody knows about. They're going to see, okay, he's short. And so you know that if a woman likes you, in spite of being short, then you have nothing to be insecure about at that point. And I know that's a lot easier said than done to adopt that philosophy. But, I mean, is every man who's 5'2" in the whole entire world single? I mean, I just gave you an example of somebody that I know. Or even if we think about people who are out of shape, something like that. There are a lot of people who are out of shape who don't really look good at all, right? Hair fucked up, skin, all of that. Everything is just, they're just messy. They're just messy people. And they're still able to get into relationships. So 5'2", bro, hey, it is what it is. You can't change that. Control the controllables. You're 5'2", that puts you at an advantage because if you were to do the workouts that I do, you'd probably be fucking stacked. Kyle, how much is your coaching program? That's a great question. Instead of answering it, I'm going to ask you this. Based on everything I've said about it, I want you to think about this, all right? I want you to, in your mind, visualize the transformation that you want to make. If you don't want to make a transformation, then don't join the coaching program because that's basically the whole point of it. But I want you to visualize the transformation that you want, whatever that looks like to you. You have the relationship that you want. You have the physique that you want. You've built up a YouTube channel, so you're making money online. You're able to travel the world, and you get to be yourself. How much would it cost you to not join the coaching program? That's what you really need to be asking yourself. Because when I think about the life that I'm living right now, and again, I have a long way to go, but I'm a long way from where I was. When I think about that ground that I've covered, how much would I pay to get from where I was to where I am? If you gave my 20-year-old self the opportunity to make the transformation that I've made, he'd empty out his bank account. But I'm saying that to say that that's the wrong question. That's the wrong question to be asking. But again, you don't have to actually join the coaching program. You can watch my free content and you can still make that same transformation. It'll just take longer. So it's more about if you want to compress that time frame down. If you want to compress the time frame down, then you can join the coaching program. But if you just want the free transformation, maybe if you're in a position where you can't afford that right now, that's fine. Just keep watching the content. Keep watching the content and I'm going to still get you right, best believe. Whether you think you can or can't, you're right. Absolutely. I think I skipped some pretty good questions here. Common interest is a good proxy. However, if you approach a girl through common acquaintances, things can go awkward if the girl doesn't like being approached. Yeah, but I mean, that's the case with anything. If a girl doesn't want to be approached, then she just doesn't want to be approached. I've had a lot of video editors, thumbnail makers, growth operators, just different people who work with content creators. Probably hundreds, if not thousands of these people have emailed me throughout the years, and they don't realize that they're just emailing the wrong person. They're just emailing the wrong person. It's not that their pitch isn't good enough. It's not that their editing skills aren't good enough. They'd probably be great editors for other people, but I'm not looking for an editor. And so I don't care to be approached. I don't like being approached per se. I don't mind them emailing me or whatever, but they're not going to actually work with me because that's not what I'm looking for at this point in time. So you can't control that. You can't control if she likes being approached or not, but you can give yourself a much better chance by approaching women with whom you already share a common interest. Ethical non-monogamy is trending in the States and on the rise. Thoughts? I don't really have a whole lot of thoughts about that, to be honest. I mean, to each their own. If everybody everybody understands what they're getting themselves into, then by all means they can go for that. Me personally, though, I mean, we've decided that monogamy that's just the best option for us. But if for other people they don't feel the same way, then they should pursue that. To me, that's better than cheating. Because I think I've said this in the past, but cheating isn't even about getting with somebody else. It's about lying. It's about getting into this relationship under the pretense that it's monogamous and then failing to uphold the promise. That's what makes cheating so bad. Because if you think about it, and I mean, in some cases, women will, let me not even go there, but I'm going to just say this, right? If it weren't the case that the lying was actually the worst part, then women would actually be offended that you've dated other women before. But more often than not, they're not going to see you as somebody who's less desirable simply because you've dated other people. Because it has nothing to do with the agreement that you've established with this woman. Do you think we should continue procreation as a species with the state of the world and the economy? I don't think the world is suitable for kids or should be continued. That's a very, very interesting take. And I understand your concern about the direction that the world is going in, but let me ask you this. If people stop having kids, who's going to change the world? Somebody has to make the world a better place. And one of those offsprings are going to be the people, or going to be the person to do it. So I'm more so come from the perspective of I see people as assets to the world, not as detriments to the world. Because it only takes one or two people to figure out a solution that can offset the millions of other people who are on some bullshit. I have both of your books, Jordan. You're a great author. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate you for tapping into the books, but I noticed you said both. I actually have 3 books. So if you haven't checked out Her Flowers yet, definitely go and check that out. Or if you just want free access to it, you can join the coaching program. I guess it's not free access, but yeah, if you want access to that book, then you can join the coaching program. Or you can just go on Amazon and look up Her Flowers, Jordan Green, and you will find the book there. But that's actually my best work thus far, poetry-wise, that is. I don't even think I really answered this question about the dating apps. Yeah, as far as dating apps go, I am actually pretty averse to them, simply because they're too similar to cold approaching. So actually, I think dating apps are better than cold approaching, because at least you have some information about a girl before you swipe on her profile and start talking to her and waste your time interacting with somebody who you shouldn't be interacting with. But it's still too general. I think if you're going to use a dating app, you should use one that's very targeted and specific. So I don't know if Christian Mingle is still a thing, but that would be an example of a dating app that, if it's still around, if you're Christian, you could consider using something like that, because you already have that common interest on which to base the conversation. You have faith that the world will eventually become a better place. Naive much? Well, maybe I am naive. And maybe everyone else who's ever enacted positive change in the world has also been naive. I don't know. Maybe that's a coincidence. Maybe it's not. What I do know is that if you fundamentally believe the world is just going to go to shit no matter what, then that's what your reality is going to reflect. Because your subconscious mind is going to filter out every other example that doesn't align with your narrative that you're creating in your mind. So, again, is it a coincidence? I don't know. And Eel, that's a very good point. I hope that Rocket P13 understands that the world was a lot worse in the past. Just look at history. Exactly. Especially, listen, for anybody who is a woman, black, gay, what else? Any other historically marginalized group of people, you can't tell me that the world has not improved. Because as far as I'm aware, my grandma, Jim Crow was still active when she was coming up. So I'm only, 2 generations removed from that? It's all about what you choose to focus on. There are aspects of the world which are getting better and aspects which are getting worse. What you focus on is what you're going to attract into your life, in the sense that you're going to, again, block out any examples that don't align with your narrative. Bold assumption that I'd actually get any matches. My biggest concern is that I'll get no matches, and that'll just deflate my self-esteem even more, if that's even possible. That happened to me when I got on the dating apps for the first time. I wasn't getting any matches, and that's actually what inspired me to start making the Tinder Tuesday videos. Was I figured, well, if I'm not going to get a match anyways, or if I'm not going to be able to actually find love on here, then I'm going to just bullshit too, and I'm going to just record myself doing it. But the thing is, whether you get matches or not, the same problem still applies, which is that the people on there don't necessarily have much in common with you. And also, dating apps, I've noticed, tend to attract women who just aren't really relationship material. It's kind of like going to a bar or a club and expecting to find the love of your life. It can happen. It's possible. It's happened before. But at least for the type of women that I personally was looking for, I was never going to find them in a place like that. I feel like the same people that's normalizing calling out the virgins who didn't lose their V cards struggle to raise children in their late teens and early 20s for the most part. That's a fact. People don't want to talk about that. People do not want to talk about that. If you're a virgin, then if nothing else, you at least aren't going to have any children before you're ready for it. It's all fun and games until you get that positive test. I took your advice on approaching people as an introvert. I was at the gym, and as I was filling my bottle up, I noticed a few girls enter the gym that I've seen in my school. They approached me after recognizing me, and I asked them how's their last year of school going so far, and they said it's not bad so far. As they were about to leave, I introduced myself to them, and they introduced themselves to me. Ever since then, whenever we see each other in the gym, we would greet one another, and whenever I'm around them, I've never felt anxious at all. See, that's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I'm talking about. You love to see it, bro. You love to see it. Props to you for taking that initiative, bro. A lot of people will watch my videos, but they're not actually going to take the advice and apply it in their lives. And that's why they stay stuck. But by you taking that action, bro, you just unlocked a whole new part of yourself that you probably didn't even know was there. It's very unnatural the way we live. Earth will exterminate us soon. The Y chromosome that creates boys is genetically dissipating, and that's because we are a virus. Earth wants us to stop breeding. Well, again, that's a very interesting take, and I'm not going to invite what you just said into my belief system personally. I'm going to leave that at the door and lock the door. But again, if that belief serves you, if you feel like that belief allows you to enjoy life more, then by all means, you have the right to believe that. And hey, you keep doing you. But as far as I'm aware, I think the population's still increasing. I could be wrong. Maybe I am. I'm often wrong. But as far as I'm aware, the population is still increasing. So, I don't know. Maybe the earth does want us to stop breeding. Maybe it is trying to exterminate us. But if it is, then it's not really doing a great job at it. Jordan, did you say breakfast? Did you just wake up or did you fast all day? So, yeah, I don't even know how to answer that. I woke up at 2, more or less. Somewhere around 2:30. And my girlfriend and I basically went out and did sprints. And in between then, I don't even know what we were doing. I guess, yeah, I went through my morning routine, just checking emails, things of that nature, did my little Duolingo, did my stretches, listening to my audiobook. And yeah, the time just kind of disappeared, honestly. Didn't really have enough time to eat breakfast. And also, I didn't want to eat a lot before we ran, because I know sprinting can be very taxing. And I wasn't trying to throw up out there on that field. And it was frozen, yeah. My overnight oats were frozen. How do you hold a conversation with someone? Not just a girl to get a girlfriend, but also a guy to have friends. I just can't hold a conversation. I don't have a problem approaching them though. So, I think it comes down to having a genuine curiosity about the person. And if you're not genuinely curious about them, you probably don't want that person to be in your life. That's just my opinion. So, ask the questions that you actually want to ask. And I mean, when you get people talking about themselves, you'd be surprised how long they can talk for. So, I think that's a big part of it. But also, I think that as you develop your connection with somebody, you can actually build the tolerance for silence, for that awkward silence between you. And I think that that's the measure of a true connection, is when certain things don't even need to be said. The silence speaks for itself. And you can just feel the rapport without any words being exchanged. But yeah, questions. In the short term, especially if you're just meeting somebody, ask them questions, ask them follow-up questions. And let's say, for example, with basketball, if you see somebody playing basketball, you're playing basketball, that's easy. Because you can talk about if they played basketball, you can talk about the NBA, things of that nature. But also what I found is that, at least for me, maybe it's different for you, but for me, each of my friends is a little different in the sense that I have different topics that I speak about with different friends. So I don't have the same conversations with every friend. There are certain friends that I talk more about basketball with, certain friends that I talk more about spirituality with, certain friends that I talk more about business with. And I just sort of lean into that. I don't try to have the wrong conversations with the wrong people. Or with the right people, actually. I don't try to have the wrong conversations with the right people. Is it bad to have a low body count as a man? Does it mean that I'm low status and undesirable? Surely a guy with many options would enjoy the luxury of variety if he had it. I don't. Well, if that's how you see it, then that can be true for you. I know that my body count is very low. Just subjectively speaking, most men would consider my body count to be low, and I see that as a good thing. Personally, that's just a me thing though. And I know that there are women out there who also saw that as a good thing, because when I made a video on TikTok in 2020 explaining that I was a 20-year-old virgin, it became a part of my daily routine. I'm not even saying this to brag. This is literally a matter of fact. I started getting so many DMs from girls that every day, the same way I check my emails every day now, I would check my TikTok DMs, and I would be talking to girls every single day. And they knew without a shadow of a doubt that I had a low body count. I had no body count. And it actually attracted them to me more. So it could also be the types of women that you're interacting with. If they think that you're less attractive for that, that's on them. They're probably insecure because they have high body counts, but we're not even going to go there. To this day, I still see no shame in being a virgin until the right moment. I feel most feel the need to lose the card due to unfortunate social pressure and bragging rights. Absolutely, Golden Nagoma. You hit the nail on the head. And with that, I think it just comes down to surrounding yourself with people who aren't going to put that pressure on you. Because, I mean, what do they gain from it? I mean, really think about this for a second. Why are your guy friends, right, your straight guy friends, thinking so much about your sex life as a man? I mean, am I the only one who sees something a bit, I don't know, suspect about that? Or is that just, I don't know. To me, that just seems a little bit crazy to be that invested into another man's sex life. But I don't know. I could be misguided in thinking that. I've heard news that an Irish Christian teacher got his salary stripped after refusing to use they, them pronouns to a trans student, and now he spent 500 days in jail and will be punished further. Okay, I think that is definitely very extreme. 500 days in jail is kind of crazy. I mean, there are people who probably caught assault charges and aren't even doing that kind of time. So I don't know, there's probably more to that than what you saw in the news reports. Which, by the way, you shouldn't be watching the news in the first place. So, just put that out there. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, if he's a Christian teacher, I don't know why a trans student will want to go to a Christian school. It just seems like a bad idea, in my opinion. I have nothing against people who want to use whatever pronouns they want. I don't really see, it doesn't affect me. It's like it doesn't matter. Personally, I would have just said they, them, if that made them feel more comfortable. But, I mean, if it's a Christian school, obviously they're operating on different principles. So, I don't know, it just seems like a bad match. It just seems like a bad match, but there's no way that bro should have spent 500 days in jail. Absolutely not, if that's actually true. Jordan, who commented that about humans and males? I'm searching for the comment. Are you talking about Rocket's comment? About the Y chromosome? It's basically, yeah, it's not that far up. It's not really that far up at all. But I'm probably going to answer about 3 or 4 more questions because I need to take a shower. And again, for anybody who's just joining in, this is not my last live stream. This is just my final stream on this channel. So if you want to continue watching the streams, then tap into my second channel, Jordan Green Unfiltered, and you can continue watching the Sunday streams there, as well as the self-improvement content. How did you meet your girlfriend? Hope that's not too intrusive. It's not too intrusive. We met through YouTube. To make a long story short, we both watched the same creator. I commented my Snapchat in the comments of this creator's video. Or was it a live stream?
It was a live stream.
In a live stream. So, see? A live stream, just like this one. I commented my Snapchat in a live stream, just like this one, from that creator. The creator was Elena Castillo. Shout out to her. And, yeah, she added me. And it just kind of went from there. And that was in 2018. That was November 2018. So, it's been... What year is it? It's 2025. It's been almost 7 years since then. I feel like it had been deleted. I still see the comment. On my end. Oh, you know what it is? You have to change it to live chat. If you have it set to top chat, it's not going to show. I think. Well, actually... Yeah, you have to change it to live chat instead of top chat. But if you're trying to delete the comment or ban the person, you don't have to do that. You don't have to ban them or anything like that. I mean, if that's their opinion, then they can believe what they want to believe. But I'm personally not going to invite that belief into my belief system because I don't believe that it's serving me. How do we get rid of limiting thoughts? I can't keep a job because I keep doubting myself and second guessing whenever they give me tasks and assignments. So I think a lot of it comes down to building up a catalog of evidence to show that you are capable and competent. And what I mean by that is you need to be able to look to your past and borrow confidence from your younger self by observing the things that he's done. And so when you look back at some of the obstacles that you've overcome, and surely you've overcome obstacles because you can't live life without encountering obstacles. And the fact that you're still alive and that you're able to comment is proof that you've overcome those obstacles, or you're in the process of overcoming those obstacles. So if you can overcome those obstacles, that means that you're capable of doing hard things. You can do hard things. I want you to commit that affirmation to your spirit, not even just your subconscious mind. Commit that into the depth of your spirit and really just remind yourself that you can do things that you don't think you're capable of doing right now. And actually, you can make hard things become easy. When I first started YouTube, I doubted my ability to speak to a camera, ironically. That's my greatest strength now as far as YouTube goes. I doubted my ability to do that, but I made that easy by just doing it over and over and over again. So when you have that doubt, it's not about getting rid of the doubt or the limiting beliefs. It's about proving them wrong. Take all of that doubt as fuel to inspire yourself to keep pushing through the doubt. Every time you feel that doubt, that's an opportunity for you to build that catalog of evidence. And you can say, bro, I doubted myself so much. I didn't think I could do that, but I did it. And then I did it again and again and again, and it became easy over time. If you can approach work with that mindset, with that mentality, you are going to succeed. Period. You are going to succeed. Do you two live in your own apartment? Yes, apartment tour coming tomorrow. Hey Jordan, what are your thoughts about creatine? Have you ever used it? Actually, ooh, my ankle is still fucked up. Oh my God. Now that you mention it, let me show you. I actually haven't taken my creatine today, so I'm going to go ahead and take that right now. So I do about 5 grams a day. So I have the little scoop right here.
You good?
Oh my God. I got distracted because my camera died. Right. Fuck. Okay. Yeah, I'm back. I am back. But yes, I do take creatine. Creatine, honestly, is a cheat code. At least when you first start taking it. It's this instant gratification sort of thing because I think I put on 10 pounds in about a month when I started taking it. I don't know if everybody's body responds like that, but my body responded very well to it. Man, that's so crazy. Wish I could meet a girl on YouTube. Bro manifested his girlfriend in the chat. All love, happy for you, bro. I appreciate that. And listen, bro. Again, I don't want to push this coaching program too hard, but I literally give you the whole entire blueprint, the whole shit of how I manifested love. And I help you cultivate that same emotional state that is more conducive to manifesting love, so that you can actually enjoy the process as much as you do the outcome, so that you can be in love before you even meet the love of your life. So if that sounds appealing to you, then you can click the link in the description. Creatine is good for water retention. Yes, it is, because you retain water in your muscles. So it gives you that fuller look. Also increases performance in the gym. I think it increases muscular endurance. Doesn't creatine cause hair loss if you're predisposed to it, of course? I don't know. I will say my hairline has receded a little bit, but I think that was even before I started taking creatine. That's from stress. That's from the stress of being an entrepreneur. That shit aged me years, decades, in about 6 months. 2022 was a very stressful time. Have you thought about visiting other European countries like Germany, Austria, etc.? Yes, for sure. I will say right now, the thing is, the Netherlands is it's become my new reference point. It's become my new normal, which is why I know that whenever I visit Texas here in the next few weeks, I'm probably going to experience a major reverse culture shock. But at the same time, I still know I'm in another country. So I still feel kind of like I'm traveling in a sense. It helps that we just moved across the Netherlands as well, to a city that neither of us had been to. But I definitely do want to visit other countries. I want to visit Paris. I know that's the generic answer, but Paris for sure. Already been to London, already been to Valencia, Spain, Zurich, Switzerland. I would like to see Zurich again, actually. I was only there for 1 day, but I liked it. Been to Antwerp, Belgium. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I want to visit some of the Scandinavian countries as well. Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark. Austria, I've heard, is really, really beautiful, though. And also Germany. I want to see Berlin in particular. I don't know why. It just seems cool. Eustress or de-stress? Distress, my bad. Eustress or distress? Eustress. No. Actually, for 2022, I didn't know that's what you were asking. It was a mix of both. It was necessary because it helped me build character, but it was unnecessary in the sense that I'm the one who created it. So, actually, this is a good segue into this question right here. If you had a time machine and you would have the chance to meet your younger self, what advice would you give yourself? I would only change one thing in my life, and that is in 2021, when I signed the lease to that apartment, I would have canceled that lease and I would have moved overseas then. If I had just known that that was even an option, that these other countries were viable, living, just viable options to actually live in full time, I would have moved out of the country for sure. But I just didn't know. But yeah, a lot of the stress that I felt was just from me putting myself in a situation where I had to perform, but I didn't really have the ability to perform. It was just, everything was bad timing in 2022. It just felt like everything was bad timing. I'm Albanian. I would love for you to visit Albania. It's cheap and beautiful beaches, maybe one day. Albania got the coldest flag. I can't lie, bro. That is a pretty cold flag. Honestly, Albania is in Eastern Europe, I'm pretty sure, right? Because I've heard that Eastern Europe overall is just really nice, really slept on, low cost of living, and very visually beautiful, nice people. They also like basketball in Eastern Europe, and I like basketball. So I would definitely like to visit Eastern Europe, including Albania. Bro, I forgot I followed you. We used to both be active in that one singer's live stream. See? This is what I'm talking about. It was that same person. Elena Castillo. I'm assuming that that's who you're talking about. But shout out to Elena. Elena really, she doesn't understand the ripple effect that she's actually had on my life. I don't think she ever truly will have a full grasp of that. Between meeting my girlfriend, which led to me moving overseas, to meeting Bryce Wilson, he's been one of my biggest pillars of support as I've progressed through my journey. I mean, yeah, I've just met so many dope people through her channel, but also just inspiring me to start YouTube. That's insane. She has no idea. She probably thinks I just liked her music and stuff like that. It's like, no, it's a lot deeper than that. One of these days, my girlfriend and I are going to be out and about, and we're just going to run into her. And we're just going to tell her exactly what happened with that, because that's fucking insane now that I think about it. South Europe, the Balkans. I don't know much about the Balkans or South Europe. Do you know, what are the Balkans?
The islands?
They're islands?
I thought, or am I just really stupid right now?
I figure you know more about Europe than I do, because you're...
I don't know English terms, I guess.
But where would that be? What even qualifies as South Europe?
Like Italy, Spain.
Let me look at a map, because I'm
not good at typography.
actually, let me not look on my computer, because
Anymore. I used to be in school, but now, no.
it's still in you then. It's still within you. Let me look on the map. The Balkans.
I thought it was islands.
Oh, okay. So it's next to Greece. It's next to Greece, North Macedonia, and Montenegro. But then, wait, you said you're from Kosovo. Different country though? Because looking at this map, I'm a bit confused. What are some hobbies girls do? My main hobbies are boxing and soccer. You'd be surprised. Boxing, that's definitely male-oriented, but there are a lot of women out there who play soccer, bro. I mean, let's be real. A lot of women out there play soccer. I think it also kind of depends on where you live. But, yeah, while it is true that men tend to be into sports more than women are, you're still going to be able to find women playing soccer. Just try playing at different fields. And I guess it's a little different because with basketball, you can just play one-on-one. I had that happen one time where I was playing basketball and a girl came up to me and asked me to play one-on-one. And we played one-on-one. And I'm pretty sure I beat her. I know I was packing her shit. She thought she was going to get an easy layup, and I sent her shit into the ether, like LeBron James with the chase down block. But it's possible, bro. It's rare, but it's possible. It does happen. And remember, you only got to find somebody once. You only have to find somebody once. In fact, my friend Bryce Wilson, who I just mentioned a few minutes ago, he is really big into soccer. And I know for sure he's definitely met women playing soccer, coaching soccer in particular. So that's something you can get into. You can maybe coach Little League soccer or something like that. You'd be surprised, some of the mothers of those children. Let me not even get into that, because that's... Shout out to Bryce, man. I swear, Bryce is one of the wildest people. He's one of the funniest people that you'll ever meet. Kosovo, Albania, Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia, Greece, Turkey. Okay. Yeah, when it comes to identifying these places on a map, I definitely have a lot of work to do with that. Kosovo was part of Yugoslavia in the 90s, and Yugoslavia broke apart and formed independent countries. Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia, Kosovo, etc. And Kosovo is inhabited by 90% plus Albanians, so Albania, Kosovo. Oh, wait, so Albania and Kosovo are connected. I don't think I've ever heard of that before. A country that's inhabited by 90% people who aren't ethnically from that country. That's pretty interesting. Soccer MILFs might be the demographic. You're right. Listen, bro, where there's a will, there's a way. I'm telling you, there is always a way. Because, for example, my friend Kendrick, shout out to Awaken PSD. I know we haven't seen him on the streams in a while, but if you know, you know. If you've been subscribed for long enough, you know Awaken PSD. Every girlfriend that I've ever seen him have, I'm pretty sure he met playing video games. I'm almost positive every single one of them. So, I'm telling you, bro. And video games are definitely majority male. But, I don't know. It's just, some of it is serendipity. It's just trusting that things are just going to happen at the right time. And that's really frustrating as a man, because as men, we just like to control things. But trusting that it's going to happen and putting yourself in position to be ready when it does happen. I think that's the main thing. Bryce is built different in a good way. He most certainly is, bro. Bryce, he's just one of those people who you see what he presents to the surface, and then you talk to him and he just has all these layers to him, bro. I don't know. He's a really interesting guy in general. Really insightful. You can skip out on Romania and Moldova. You know what? I think I watched a video about Moldova. If I'm not mistaken, Moldova was the poorest country in Europe, I think. If I recall correctly, correct me if I'm wrong. It was this prison show that I watched on Netflix. I forgot what it was called. World's Toughest Prisons, I think. It was hosted by this British guy. He did an episode in Moldova. And I was like, bro, shit looks kind of rough out there. But I don't know too much about Romania, honestly. But I've heard that Slovenia in particular is really nice. Man said, I've been working on slipping punches and catching baddies. But I keep slipping baddies and catching punches. Hey, bro, look, we have a lot of work to do. But rest assured that I can get you right, bro. I can get you right with the dating stuff. I can't give you a timeline of how quickly you'll be able to find a woman, but I do know that I can put you in position psychologically to be open to the right woman when she presents herself. What's good, Jamaro? What is good with you, bro? Bro, how would I go about trying to communicate with people in every room? Because I know that skill can take you places, just don't know if we will relate or understand each other. So that's the thing. I don't really propagate that idea that you should try to be able to fit into any group or any room. I think that you should be yourself, and the rooms that you end up in by being yourself are the rooms that you actually belong in, and you'll easily be able to converse with those people because they're people who resonate with you at your core, at your essence. So that's what I would say with that, bro. We need more vlogs. I have a lot more videos out and about coming out this upcoming week. Is my stuff working? Is my shit fucked up? Hey, can you see these messages, Jordan? Skizzler, if you've been sending messages this whole time, then I don't think I was seeing them. But I did see that one. Yeah, Moldova is the poorest. I went there and it's the least walkable city I ever visited. That's because you've never been to Dallas before. How's it going, bro? It's doing pretty well. Things are going pretty well. I'm really, really sore. We just finished these sprints. Had to cook my girlfriend a few times just to remind her that I really do this. But yeah, bro, life is good. I'm glad to hear that you're doing good as well, because you're always spreading positivity. So I feel like that should come back right back to you. I feel like you deserve to just be happy and just have your well-being intact. When's your birthday and how old are you turning? My birthday is on March 14th and I'm turning 25. 25 years old. But I'm going to answer probably about 3 more questions and then we're going to go ahead and wrap the stream up, because I still need to eat lunch and it's 8:51. I need to eat lunch and it's 8:51 p.m. You hate to see it. Oh my goodness. What's the best way to handle conflict and fights in a relationship? Understand the difference between arguing and debating. When people debate, they're debating on facts. When people argue, they argue based on emotion. Two completely different things. And this is why sometimes you can argue with somebody, whether it's a woman or another man, it doesn't matter. You can argue with somebody and you can be factually correct, but you're still in the wrong. Because ultimately, an argument comes down to how somebody feels about something. And so, even if you pull the rug from under their emotion, the emotion is still there. Even if it's based on a false belief or a belief in a false fact, the emotion is still there. And so you have to address the emotional state more than anything else. And once you address the emotional state and you validate how they feel, you're not invalidating how they feel. You're not telling them, oh, you're stupid for feeling this way. You're stupid for getting sad about that. You're stupid for getting mad about that. Once you can instead give them the space to feel the way that they need to feel, that's going to take care of about 85% of it right there. And the last 15% is just communicating. So you give them the space to feel the way that they need to feel, and then you simply communicate. Now, obviously, that's broad, it's ambiguous. So what do I mean by communicating? Well, basically, it's never about being right. It's never about who's right and who's wrong. It's always about figuring out what the actual truth is getting down to the essence of what you're arguing about and creating that space for this person to air out their grievances so that they don't establish this foundation of resentment against you. Because from there, anything can turn into an argument. It's like living in a fireworks factory. You fuck around and set off one match and the whole thing blows up. Do you think it's possible to save 10K in a year working a 9 to 5? Absolutely. Depends on what kind of 9 to 5 you work, but absolutely. Is YouTube your main source of income now or a big part of it? Yes. YouTube and coaching. Those are the two components of my business at this point in time. Looking forward to the live streams on the other channel. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Rocket, yes, I've done it. Saved well over 10K working a 9 to 5 in the cloud industry. Bro, you love to see it. Shout out to you, bro. You're out here killing it. It's definitely possible. It depends on what kind of job you work. If you're making minimum wage, I mean, you're not even going to make 10K in a year. Because I think when I worked at PacSun, bi-weekly, my checks were probably $250. So probably $500 a month, if that, which is $6,000 a year. So you have to make enough first, and then you have to keep your expenses low. But if you can do that, then you don't have to make a whole lot of money to save a lot of money. Jordan, do you believe life is fair? Do you think some people live easier lives than others? Are some people gifted a better hand? How do you deal with the inequity of life? So I definitely think that different people have different starting points. Different people have different circumstances. And for some people, earlier I said that as an entrepreneur, the hardest thing is finding the starting line. For some people, they just get placed there through nepotism, through just general favorability for whatever reason. Some people are just placed there. It just happens that way. But ultimately, you can't control that. You can't control how other people start their lives, what their starting points are. You can only control how you work with what you have. So when you just focus on your own life and you focus less on being bitter about, oh, this person doesn't look as good as me, but they're able to get with this girl. I don't understand that. When you think less about that and you start thinking more about your own life, you're so focused on watering your own grass that you're too busy to see if anybody else's grass is greener. What's going to end up happening is soon enough, people are going to start looking over your fence, looking at your grass. They're going to be like, damn, this is unfair. Right? You have all of this success. You have good genetics. That's why you look like that. That's not fair. I can't look like that. And you'd be like, well, maybe it's good genetics, or maybe it's the fact that I'm in the gym 7 days a week. That's just one example. But the point is, bro, success is never a coincidence. The people who are handed The success, the people who are handed those better opportunities, a lot of times fumble them because they don't have the character to uphold them. He said the stream thumbnails always crack me up, staring right at my soul. Bro, honestly, I just do kind of what works, to be honest with you. I feel like those thumbnails just, well, I guess for obvious reasons, they just stand out. They do stand out, I will say that. Could you eat lunch on stream since last stream and continue, please? Honestly, we're coming up on 2 hours. Skizler, I know you said since it's the last stream on this channel, can you do 2 hours? So we're coming up on 2 hours. So we'll compromise and I'm going to do another 5 minutes and we'll end it at 2 hours exactly, just for you. Jordan, when you become rich, will you get veneers? No, I don't see why people do that, honestly. I've seen people who have good teeth that get veneers. I don't really understand it. I don't know. I don't want to look like that. And if somebody else has veneers and they're watching this, then, I mean, no offense to you. It's just I personally prefer to not do that. It's kind of like the people who get hair transplants. It's like, my shit is receding. I already know it's receding. And I know that at about probably 32 years old, I'm going to have to surrender. And I'm going to just have to go bald. I'm going to go out gracefully. I'm not going to hold on any longer than I need to. I'm not going to get hair transplants like LeBron. Okay, yes, LeBron, I'm calling you out. I'm not going to be doing all of that. I'm going to just let it go. I'm going to rock the bald head, and that's what it's going to be. Is it really the last stream? It's the last stream on this channel. If you want to keep watching my streams, then subscribe to my second channel, Jordan Green Unfiltered. And you can watch the streams there. But I won't be streaming on this channel anymore. All you need in the gym is 4 times a week as long as you're pushing yourself. Well, it depends. Because when I was doing 4 days a week, I didn't really see the results that I wanted. For me, I just have these numbers that I go by. And in order for me to get those numbers, volume-wise, I need to split it up a certain way. Because let's say, for example, 4 days a week, you're probably doing upper, lower. But unless you're in the gym 3 hours at a time, you're not going to hit your whole upper body. You're not going to hit it adequately. So, and that's something that I realized over time. It's like, you can't just add in a couple sets of skull crushers at the end and expect to really grow your triceps. You have to hit them hard. So I prefer to just hit my muscles really hard very often. And don't forget, luck is part of success, because you can keep trying and be fully prepared, but if you're not successful yet, it's because the luck hasn't fallen into your place yet. Well, that's true. Luck, serendipity is a part of it, but let me ask you this. What were the chances of you being born, statistically? If we think about luck, right? In order for you to be born, your parents had to meet. A lot of things had to go right for them to meet in the first place, much less end up together. Whether they had you in or out of wedlock doesn't matter. For them to have converged and have had you, a lot of things had to go right. We have to think back on their ancestors choosing to be in these specific areas. Or maybe if they don't come from the same areas, one of them had to go to this area that they were probably unfamiliar with. A lot of things had to go right, basically. That's the hardest thing you will ever do. There was a 1 in 400 trillion chance of you being born. That's the hardest thing you're ever going to do in your life. So everybody on this motherfucker is lucky. Everybody. No exceptions. Everyone is lucky. I don't care what kind of hand you're dealt, at least you're in the fucking game. And you're lucky to be in the game. So, to your point, focus on being fully prepared. Focus on trying, but it's not even just trying. A lot of times it's just figuring out where the starting line is. Don't let that go over your head. What I mean by that, I'm not going to end the stream until I say this, okay? What I mean by that is, in order to become successful, it's not about working harder per se. Working hard is a prerequisite, but it's not about working harder. It's about pairing your work ethic and your preparation with a high leverage opportunity. So again, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to end the stream on this note, okay? And I appreciate you for watching. I'm going to end the stream on this note right here. Look at my views over this past week, the last 5 or 6 videos that I uploaded. on this channel. Just look at the views, average them out. Probably 700 views on average, if that. And then what I want you to do is I want you to watch my view count over this next week, starting from tomorrow all the way up through Saturday. I want you to watch the views on those videos, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm taking the same exact skill set that I have, the ability to speak to a camera about things that I'm interested in. I'm taking that same ability and I'm simply utilizing it. I'm pairing it with a higher leverage opportunity, and you're going to see much different results. I'm not working any harder for it. The only other work involved is I have to, I guess, go outside and actually walk around and shit when I talk. But functionally, it's the same skill set applied to a higher leverage opportunity, and you're going to see that the results are going to be drastically different. And you can come back to the stream and be like, oh shit, he's Nostradamus. No, he's not Nostradamus. I'm not a psychic. I'm not a prophet. I just know a little bit about a little bit. And that little bit accounts for a lot. That said, I am going to go ahead and end this stream. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. And again, if you're just now tuning in, then I'm sorry you had to miss the stream, but you can obviously watch it back afterwards. But this is not my final live stream. This is just my final live stream on this channel. If you want to continue watching my streams, go to Jordan Green Unfiltered. You can go to my channel homepage, scroll down, and you'll see the channel right there. Go and subscribe to that channel for the streams, for the self-improvement content, and just for general vibes. The next stream that I do, the stream that I do on that channel next Sunday, is going to be a music stream because that channel is not monetized. I'm not going to lose out on any money anyways. So it's going to be a music stream. I'm going to put you onto the music that I listen to. So definitely don't miss out on that. That said, I appreciate you for tuning in. And yeah, I hope that you have a great rest of your day. And stay tuned and remember what the fuck I just said. Watch this next week. Watch this next week. Watch what's going to happen. And you will have the key to success right there. I'm going to just end it just like that. Boom.